Hey guys, guess where we are today? we are somewhere completely and utterly different. Welcome to Konoudai. We are about 15 minutes by bus to this area. Oops, have to be careful, narrow roads. There's us. And instead of seeing apartments, we're actually seeing houses, which is somewhat of a rarity. You have to go out into the countryside a little bit. And yes, you still have places to pay to park here. So why are we out so far in what Japan would call the countryside? Well, today we are actually going to somewhere called Konoudai Castle ruins. So to give you a bit of backstory, Japan had a feudal area, just like everywhere else, and warlords built castles, of course. And it isn't always just wars between warlords that caused castles to fall down. If you know anything about Japanese history and what the castles are made from, wood, paper, so you can imagine that the elements, like lightning strikes, fires, you name it, were obviously a source of problem for Japanese. And they didn't really use nails and things like that. They actually use a special interlocking craftsmanship that I don't think I've seen anywhere else in the world, and very few people know how to do it anymore. So, and we'll turn around so you can see us. Here we are.
There's only one person here. Look at that.
Well,
stay on the footpath.
There you go. There's not much in the way of footpath here, so I do apologise for that. So there's lots of. We've got to be careful of everything. Bikes, cars, overhanging trees.
Wild pandas. No? Oh,
No. So it's about a 4-minute walk from here. And I believe what was it, 220 yen to get in?
No, that was the bus trip.
That was the bus trip? So yeah.
The ruins, there's not much of the actual buildings left. The Konoudai Castle ruins gardens. So they've still got the basic area, but it's all been done up with gardens and stuff. So it should be really nice to have a look around.
Yeah, so of the castles that remain in Japan, there is 12 that you can actually visit. Many of the remains of them, like James has said, are gardens, but they're still worthwhile visiting. So yes, 220 yen from Ichikawa station, and you catch the one that will take you close to Matsumoto Eki, which is Matsumoto station. So we thought we'd take you somewhere different. Everybody goes to the main castles, but we thought we'd show you something a little off the beaten track. Hopefully we'll go to visit our other place today. We had a list when we first came to Japan, things we wanted to do. I don't think we're going to be able to do all of them, but we will try our best.
Roses everywhere.
And these roses are probably much better than what we're growing at home, and you can see they're free of any of the airborne bacterial diseases we get back in Australia. And as you can tell, many garden enthusiasts love coming here. So, but it's not always just about the garden. Gardens are obviously a place of great reflection for Japanese, and places like this, very romantic. To sort of give you a little bit of information about feudal Japan, over 300 years that it existed, and probably a bit more than that. My figures are slightly inaccurate. And way before the first Christians landed, and were welcomed at Yokohama of all places. But obviously all things come to an end, and with the strife between warlords and the desire for Japan to be a reunified place, the era finished just before the end of 1800s.
Now this sign here, as you can see, it's actually dated today, and yes, if you're wondering how the date works, in Japan they do year, month, day, compared to us doing day, month, year. This sign, I just translated it with Google Translate, good old Google Translate, sometimes useful. It says Lord Saitomi, which is the Saitomi Park, in commemoration of your visit. So
yeah,
this is obviously the day that Lord Saitomi came to this area originally.
Yep. But unfortunately, most of the samurai era that we know of, or Bushido as it's called, has long since ended, and Japan became more reunified. And if you want to know more about that, see our previous YouTube video. But today, there's been a big resurgence on people rebuilding some of the castles that have something standing. Unfortunately, this won't be one of them, but we can just still enjoy parts of Japan's history and the beautiful gardens they leave behind. So like we said, Japan loves its green spaces. Some people actually come here in traditional attire. Now, how many people, you think most Japanese people can own kimonos? They don't. They're quite expensive. Some have them from their younger years and then they can have them re-altered for adulthood, but they're very expensive. We were lucky to get vintage ones back in the day, but majority of Japanese people these days rent them out for special occasions. You can use them.
Alright, now Google Translate, once again, this whole thing, when I first tried to Google Translate, I only caught part of it, and it said smoked grass. But then once I got the full picture in, it actually said Shien Sosha. And I looked it up to try and why is it not giving us the English pronunciation, but that's the name of this house. And it's a wooden house once lived in by Hakushu Kitahara, who was a poet in the lands here. And this was their house that they named it Shien Sosha.
So yeah, a lot of the like some of our stars at home. Some of them actually have, if they've done a lot of revered literary works, which this gentleman has, and there's another sign explaining about him. They try and preserve them as much as possible. And here you go. There's some more azaleas. Hitsuji season is starting to end here. You can see most of them are starting to fade, at least this part of the park. But we're finding a lot of hidden gems as we're walking along. Not sure if this is actually part of the wall's defences, so there's a lot of little paths along here.
Oh, yeah, this stonework here could very well be part of the original castle.
Yep.
Like the castle building.
Yep.
But obviously they will have repaired and done bits to save what they could.
Yep. So a lot of this would be the defences that the Chennai, I think that's not the word, Kenai, my apologies, Kenai means barrier. So if you've seen enough medieval stories, whether it's Chinese, Japanese or whatever, they would have some kind of wooden palisade or fence barrier before the actual castle. They usually don't make them out of rock, so that's looks to me that could possibly be what we're looking at, is part of one of the buildings of the castle. The fact that any of it's preserved in this time is quite amazing. Is it the river down there?
That is the river down there.
Ooh.
Very steep little set of stairs out of the gardens here.
So yeah, down there is the river. We don't know the name of that river. I guess we could find out for you.
It's a river full of water. I know that much.
Yeah, it could be. It's quite big. We've had quite a bit of rain in the last few days, so yeah. And there's some more stairs that lead up that way. So
it's the Edo River.
Edo.
Yeah, the Edo River.
Edo River. Yep, because Edogawa is not far away, which is kind of the town it's kind of named after. And if you know your Detective Conan's surname, as a fun fact, is Edogawa. So there you go. So yeah, I'm not sure we want to go down there. It seems pretty dry, but we'll continue walking around. There you go, guys. We are, if you kind of see in the distance, there's a couple of red cranes. That's sort of where we were. So we've
a bit over the other side of those red cranes is where we're staying. And if you look just to the right a little bit more,
yeah,
we have the Sky Tower.
There you go. So
big, long, tall needle in the middle of everything.
While transportation is quick around here and distances are deceptive, it still takes a little while to get from one part of the city to the other. So there are a lot of memorials here. As we said, we've seen a memorial for a literary poet who's quite famous in this area. Another memorial, several memorials behind us. So I'll just switch the camera around, and there is this one down here is a small granite monument. It's 10 years since Sensoji, I believe. It's a 10-year memorial stone, and there is obviously across here one that's going to be unveiled at some point. Yeah. Well, here we are, guys. We're almost around to the shrine. So if you're new to our channel and you've never been to Japan and you don't know some of the rules and regulations about them, there's a couple of places, of course, we can't film and we can't show you because it's disrespectful. So obviously, when you go to a shrine, make sure that you avoid the center, because while we don't believe in it, it's highly offensive to the Japanese. Not going to go into the reasons. Cannot film the inner sanctums of shrines, so we got to remember to turn our cameras off. And yes, if you are going to go into what they do for the traditions here, make sure you get your offering, wash your hands, cut times, and bow. Now I'm not going to do that in the right order. Now we've just got to work out which way to go. So sorry, we're a little tired, and we probably haven't done it in order, but yes, if you there's plenty of videos showing you what to do. But one of the things that shrines do, they got a lot of walking. So without further ado, let's try and find which way to go. We decided to go the other way around, and we stumbled across a beautiful little waterfall. And those who know me best know I love this sort of thing. And we just get a whole group of crows away.
If you can probably hear them in the background, but there's a lot of crows around here.
Kurasu? Oh, I don't know, they look big enough to be ravens. We didn't do much research on that, but we've just gone off the beaten track a bit. So we're here in spring, but already we're seeing small wasps out here. Not everywhere, but if you do come to Japan in the hotter months, you do need to watch out for the big ones. You can be in front of you.
So as you can see, this is a lovely area. They've got signs around that say no cooking, no fires, no nothing, because there are other areas of the park that you can do that in. But wow, they really are vocal around here, those crows. And we just thought we'd have a look into what the situation is. And Japan does have ravens and crows, but ravens generally are only around the winter months, which obviously right now we're heading into summer here. They have jungle and carrion crows in Japan, but according to what I've looked up, What we've got around here, and they do seem to be quite big, would be the jungle crows, which are apparently the larger of the crows and are often found in urban areas, including central Tokyo, which we're not exactly central Tokyo, but we're still in the part of metropolitan Tokyo. So, yes, I would be guessing that these are all jungle crows around here. And some of them, just as they fly overhead, they do look very large. But they're all just having a grand old time, having a chat by the sounds of things.
Yep. So this area, although you can't eat here, like we said before, many of the green spaces in Japan are obviously places for reflection, and considering the historic and religious significance to the area, I'd say they're onto something. It's a very nice area to have nice and peace. It's very peaceful here.
Except for the crows.
Except for the crows, of course. Kurasu. And so we will continue up these stairs, I believe, and see what, and I don't know, we will find the shrine. But as I said, we're going to be respectful, and we might just take an outside pic. Well, that concludes Konoudai Castle ruins. We didn't find the shrine, so obviously at some point there was one, but there's not much to see of it. We did get to pet a Shiba, and there's a lot of volunteers that help make the roses that you saw here today a delight to behold, and one of the reasons why many people come here. We didn't see any foreigners, but it was nice and peaceful, and the children were playing, so that was all good. So right now we're going to enjoy our ice cream from the vending machine yonder here. Unfortunately, we may not ever get to see Funabashi Onsen, I don't know. But that will probably be for another video, and we probably won't be able to show you it anyway because you can't do onsens. But I still have one place we're going to tomorrow. Well, I am. We're going to Shinjuku Gyoen National Park. And yours truly may or may not be trying some natto. We'll wait and see. So from all of us here at Connected Japan, guys, this has been day 7. We'll see you next time.